The automation I'm sharing today has been an absolute game changer, and honestly, one of the main reasons why our voice agents continue to deliver results. We stopped relying on outdated PDFs and generic training docs that never reflect what actually happens on real calls. Instead, we built a workflow that takes our real call recordings, the objections, the hesitations, the messy human moments, and automatically turns them into a living, searchable knowledge base our voice agents train on. We're using Gemini for transcription because of the long context window and N8N for the backend automation. And by the end of this, you'll know exactly how to build the same system so your voice agents sound more human, more natural, and way more effective. Okay, so let me show you how this is an absolute game changer. And we're going to run through the automation first, and then I'll show you how to build it step by step. So here we have on form submission. Essentially, if I were to click execute workflow, you see that we get this form that pops up, and it's composed of a few things. So first is the actual company name. And then for all of our clients, we have a recordings folder ID where a client uploads all of their call recordings. And then we also have a knowledge base folder ID. And all of this is within Google Drive. So all I have to do is come up with the company name. So I could do test company. Then I'm going to go into that. I'm going to grab the call recording folder ID, which is that right there. We'll drop it in here, and then we'll need the knowledge base folder ID, which is this right here. So we'll grab that, the folder ID, we'll drop it in here. And then all we have to do is hit submit. Now you can see it started. It's grabbed 4 items. There's 4 recordings, and now it's looping over them. So what's happening is it's downloading that file. Then we are analyzing the audio, and it'll do it for all 4 items. If I just open this up, we give it a bit of a prompt. So you can see here that we want it to extract only the generalizable knowledge from this call transcript, essentially to help with similar questions from other clients. So specific numbers, price, quotes, personal situation, details, all these things we want to skip and really just extract knowledge on how the process works, company policies, general recommendations, those sorts of things, common objections, how they were handled, and output it in the following format of Q&A response. So we only want to include Q&A pairs. Now, once that's done, so you can see it's looping over the 3rd item right now, downloading that file, it's going to send all of those to a Q&A aggregator. So it's going to take those 4 recordings and it's going to aggregate it into Q&A pairs for every single one of those questions. From there, it's going to go to a duplicate remover. So it's going to look at all of those Q&A pairs. It's going to say, hey, how many of these have actually already been covered and are just repetitions or variations of the same thing? It then goes, removes all of those duplicates. And then we have a knowledge base formatter. So you can see that we're putting it into a very specific style. And the reason for that is we're using markdown formatting. So one of the things is if you use the built-in Google Drive function here, right? If you use the Google Drive built-in one, or even Google Docs for that matter, we cannot structure the knowledge base in terms of headings and subheadings and all of those things. So by using a actual API call, we can now go create the document in that knowledge base folder, and then we'll go in and we'll add that knowledge base info. So if you look right here, you can see that we have that knowledge base formatter coming from here. So in just a second, you will see that it's removing the duplicates. I'll show you what the Q&A aggregator looks like, right? So you can see we have all this just combined into one out of the 4 that were processed. Now we have this, which is saying, take these Q&A pairs, remove the duplicate questions. We want it structured in the following format with company name, knowledge base, and then the different sections with the Q&A for those sections. And then we're providing it with that knowledge base, which came from the previous step. Now you see that as finished. It's gone, formatted the knowledge base, created the document, and now it's adding the knowledge base info. So if we go back, we now see our test company. We can open it up and we got the company name, knowledge base. We got the core software features and benefits with all of the answers that their actual reps gave on this call. So it's pretty damn cool. This is 5 pages of direct knowledge from their team, and you'll get way better answers and way better agent responses when you use this specific method as opposed to anything else. Okay, so now let's go into this. Now, a lot of the automations that I'm sharing with you are like actual automations that we use every single day for our clients. So they're not, fluff automations that don't truly serve any purpose other than looking pretty. So the first thing that we're going to need to do is add a form submission. I'm just going to call it call recordings to KB. And then we're going to need a couple form elements. So 3 in total. I'll just add them right here. We're going to make them all required fields. And then the first one is going to be company name. Second is going to be the recordings folder ID. And the third one is going to be the knowledge base folder ID. Now that that is done, we can click off of it. Then the next thing we are going to want to do is look for Google Drive. In Google Drive, we're going to be looking for the search files and folder one. You'll go ahead and create your connection. So if you haven't done this before, you will have to go into Google Cloud Console, and I have other videos demonstrating how you can do this. And if it is something that you want to see how you can do this, just drop a comment down below and I'll make a video on it. So we're going to be searching file and folder. We want to return all of them. And then we're going to be searching by folder, by ID. And then we will have to run this once. So I'm just going to put 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to go execute workflow. And I could do just like that. Now you can see we get here, but now we have access to these different things. So in here, we're going to be searching by the recordings folder ID. So that's the first step. So let's say I were to use this call recordings one. I could come in here, drop it in, and we could just execute that step. And then I'll just return this back to the dynamic variable, and then we can pin this data. Okay, from there, we are going to want to loop over the items. We'll just delete that. First thing we're going to want to do is go back to Google Drive. So now we're going to download that file just like this. Once again, we're going to go by ID, and I can just loop over this once. So execute your loop. So put in a fake ID here just so that you can fire this. You can now see it's hit this loop branch. And we can come in here now and replace this file by ID with the on form submission, or you can simply come in here since I've already done this and it's just json.id. Now we have access to that right here, that ID. Awesome. Now, once that is done, the next step is to analyze the audio. So for this, I use Gemini. We're going to choose the analyze audio action. The model I'm currently using is just this top one. Now I have a specific text input. I'm going to drop it down into the school. So it'll be free. You can just copy paste it, and we're not going to go through it right now. So I'll put them all in here so that y'all can just access them. This one's for audio extraction. Then we'll come down here. Instead of audio URLs, we're going to do binary files. You don't have to simplify the output with data. We're good to go. Now that is complete. Next up is a code node. So we're going to do a Q&A aggregator. Once again, going to drop in all of the code for you guys. But really, we're just getting all the items, and then we're combining it into one aggregated Q&A pair. Okay, after we've done that, we are going to need another Gemini node. This is going to be message model. And then I believe I'm using Gemini 2.5 Pro. Once again, I'm not going to go through this, but it'll be in the system prompts that I'm going to share with you. The rest looks good. Then we need a knowledge base formatter. So this is going to be a code node. We'll drop in the specific knowledge base just like this. And all we're doing is we're giving it H1, H2, H3's proper markdown formatting. Okay. And once we've done that, it's really to have an HTTP request. It's going to be a post request, and we're going to be posting to the Drive files. So we're going to be creating a post. Now I'm using a predefined credential, and then I'm looking for the Google Drive one, Google Drive OAuth 2.0. And then from there, we are sending some headers. So we're going to want content type, and we are going to want application JSON, just like this. Then we will be sending a body. We want to use JSON. And once again, all of this will be shared, but really it's the company name, the knowledge base, and then today's date with the parent folder ID, which is the knowledge base folder ID, where that will be stored. Awesome. And then the last step that we need is just to add that knowledge base info in. So same thing, it's going to be another HTTP request. It's going to be another post request. And this time we're posting it to this specific URL. So documents with the JSON ID. So with the ID that was just created, we're going to do a batch update. Same thing. We're going to do predefined credential type, look for Google Drive, and then we'll turn on send headers. We're going to pass the same headers of content type and the value of application JSON. And then we're going to turn on send body. We'll do using JSON, or actually for this one, we could do using fields below. We'll choose requests, and then we will pass this specific value, which is the knowledge base formatter, which is this step right here. So if I rename this to KB formatter, you can see that if we go back, this is now valid as before it was red. So fairly straightforward. And that's pretty much it. Once you have this, you can test it out. You'd hit execute workflow, drop in the call recording folder ID, the knowledge base folder ID, and the company name, and you have a much more powerful agent. I hope this gives you immense value. If it does, guys, drop me a subscribe. Allows me to continue making videos like this for you for free. And with that being said, hope you have an incredible day. Catch you on the next one. Peace.